the C major sonata, Opus 2 number 3, is really a large sonata. It's a long sonata, it's a difficult sonata, it's a brilliant sonata, and it requires a very good pianist technically to play it. And it also requires, to me, I don't know, it does require, I cannot imagine really playing this on a cembalo, for example. It does require an instrument with a certain dynamic range. And Beethoven wrote these three first sonatas, first piano sonatas that he composed in an opus, doing them in a group of three, which was very common. And it was also common that you had one that was dramatic. You had one that was more in the elegant character, and you had one that was really virtuoso and brilliant. And it's very clear that those are the first, second, and third ones in the opus, Opus 2. So here we come to the brilliant. There is some real drama in the second movement, in the slow movement, which is a wonderful, wonderful movement. But overall, it's a brilliant, I would almost say a little bit flashy sonata, not in a bad sense. I like flashy when it's done well. And it was certainly meant for Beethoven's personal use as a piano virtuoso, to show that, hey, I'm here in Vienna. He was a young pianist, and I'm here in Vienna, and I can play the piano at a level that very few, if maybe nobody else, can. So it is a legend of Beethoven that he had very, very good, very good double notes, basically thirds. And he loved to put these little things in there that he could do well, and he knew it would give trouble to us mortal pianists. And right in the beginning, you have a famous example of this. This went pretty well. Now, this is these thirds. They cannot sound labored. They cannot sound too slow. You can't really hide from the fact that they should be played with a certain ease, and they should sound like you know how to play thirds. I would say now, with the technical aspect here, I go into that right away, because it's the first thing that you have to conquer in this sonata. It's really the first thing. If you get past the first bar with these, then that's already a pretty good achievement. So for these thirds, there are different fingerings. Somebody liked to do the 2-4-1-5, and it's not a bad fingering at all. It works. I actually like to use in the first one, I like to use the traditional 1-3-2-4, 1-3-2-4. I don't really know why, but for some reason it works better when I just sit down at the piano and play it at a concert. And then when it comes in the third bar, I use the 4-2-1-5. Because of the C sharp there, it really makes it a lot more convenient. Nevertheless, the same principle, the same technical principle applies here, whatever fingering you are using. And that is that do not think of these thirds technically in 4 thirds. Think of them as 2 groups of 2/3 each, meaning that you feel a little bit of support in the first one. Now I'm going to take my fingering, and maybe it's the comfort of the thumb that is why I like to start that, because the comfort of I can sink down into this one a little bit more when I using the thumb. And even sometimes you can even feel that it's 1 and then you kind of sink into the first one, and then the next 3 comes as if follows up more in one movement rather than feeling, thinking too much the fingers. Now, there are several ways to practice this. I am thinking right now that maybe I should make a separate video of this sonata, how to practice things. It's possible I will do that, but because there are so many technical difficulties in this, so I might take, I might get a little stuck if I only deal with technical things in this video, but I will at least start with giving the technical aspect of this very first bar, and that is to practice it. You can practice it by holding down, sinking down in the first third, and thinking of those 2 that are the next 2 fingers that are gonna play the next third should be ready. So you sink down with this, and you are ready. It's almost like you're a little bit electric here in the fingertips to play here, to play those next ones. And I would say either here I do 1, 2, so I feel 1, 2, which works, or you can feel 1, that works too. Just 1, and then the next ones, 3 ones are in one go, one movement, one feeling. And what you have to think of too is that don't go, it can be a little bit dangerous to practice this too slow, because then you get too far in the bottom of the keys. The only one that should be kind of really reach down to the bottom of the keys is the first one. The next ones are just touching right where there is a sound coming. So that's my technical advice how to play these. I would also say, this is a pet peeve of mine with these thirds and this first bar, that I want to see, excuse me, I want to see the articulation of the slur and the dots exactly as written in the score, because it gives, to me, it sounds completely different. If you play as if that was all under one slur, and I hear that all the time, as opposed to how it's notated in the score. It's so much better. I can't even explain why it's better. It just sounds so much fresher and nicer and more energetic and more delicate and more everything, more fun. So when you practice this right from the start, make sure that is a lift. after the fourth third. So that make sure you do this slur up. There should be something, there should be something in between this and there. Right? So same thing here. And these are phenomenal in how I love playing this sonata, actually. I think it's a great piece. It's a great piece to, for example, even to end a recital, and it could also be a phenomenal piece to end before intermission. It's just, it's so entertaining, to be honest. It's very easy to listen to. It's easy to digest for the audience. It's fun to play once you know it. It's fun to listen to. So when you have this, so, huh? Yeah, this can work some days, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's gone. Don't be too worried about that. It will come back. So anyway, when you have this, listen to the silence, and then it starts again. And listen to the silence. And it's funny how he opens up, going from tonic to dominant, and then, but he has this, he goes from dominant back to tonic, right? So it's a little bit of tension. We're not talking big tensions here, but it's back. But then he goes up, like a little extra fun. So it's not, no. I think that's hilarious. It makes me giggle. And then we go. Oh, what music. What music. It's phenomenal. Anyway, I might have not really following my own advice here. I grew in dynamics and sound a little bit too much. But everything until this moment is piano, within piano, which means that the sforzandos here are all sforzandos within piano. And same thing here. By the way, I love these sforzandos, and I think that something that I didn't really do either, to be honest, now when I just played it through, those are often connected to one single note, the sforzandos, when they come as an offbeat syncopation like that. So here it's the G. Boom, 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 and it comes 3 times. So you have these 3 sforzandos, and I think they apply mostly, if not all, to that G. It's like a horn playing boo, boo, boo in the orchestra. Beethoven loves these things, to have these kind of long notes just held within and having them. There are so many examples in the piano sonatas, and I'm sure we're going to go through a lot of them and see a lot of them throughout our journey through the sonatas. Anyway, so that you have that G in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th, bar, right. And here, there is one single slur. I want to feel like a lot of quartet writing in here, huh? And there it runs away. Again, the G. And he actually writes in the score here, if it's correctly noted, which I assume it is, he writes sforzando both on this one and the G. So when it comes here, it should be both, right? Of course. But it does not apply, in my opinion, to maybe to the octaves. Octave G. That is to both in the G in the left and right. The sforzando might apply to both. But I think it's not like the full chord. It's too clumsy like that. So it's mostly the G, these two notes. And everything, and I'm playing it a little loud still, you know, because it's hard to play in piano. But it should be, all of this should be in piano. N'est-ce pas? That is better. So you have this phenomenal, think of a string quartet that is sitting and playing, you know, and then wham, it's kind of like a tutti coming in. And here, question always, how much pedal? How much pedal? I have a feeling that if Beethoven was sitting at this piano and he had the option of just putting down that pedal, one single pedal over two bars, meaning he would be like, yeah. But I can, of course, not say that with certainty. But I have a hard time thinking he would, oh no, it's too much pedal with. Oh, come on, that sounds a little bit, I don't know. It's like, it's taking away a lot of meat from this. I believe I like just having one big pedal there. And you know me, I'm not a big pedal guy actually, but there are some spots, especially in Beethoven when he uses it as a effect. And this is way too early in his music to do that, in a way, because he did not have these instruments yet. But I just what I said, if he was sitting here and he heard this, he would be like, yeah, go for it. It also makes you want to use less pedal in the beginning. Try to be very spare. To get an effect and a contrast. Well, this is just. I will make one separate video on technical things, taking spot by spot, so I don't have to get stuck, because then this video would be like 2.5 hours if I tried to explain everything technically, because it's so it's a very technically demanding sonata, this one. So here it's a it's always a question of should you kind of come down, or should you keep in intensity when you have a gesture coming down like this, to let go, so to speak, and restart? Or should you try to keep the intensity up, like I think there is a little bit of a point in trying to, after a certain point, not right away, but let's say in the second bar, right at the middle, try to let go of the tension a little bit and then start again. I hope you understand what I mean. What I mean is that you shouldn't put that pressure in the sound. That whole section, it comes down, it goes down, and something is quite natural and good in listening if you let go a little bit of the intensity after a certain time. So I think is absolutely fine to do that. Otherwise, it just gets a little bit hysterical, I guess is the word. Not so easy. It can go wrong in the left hand when you have. I like to have this whole first page, which we just reached the end of the first page, having this great drive. And not stop, absolutely not for my taste. And you should let go pretty completely of the pedal. There. Don't muddy that with the pedal. It's too... Same thing here, you know. I would play this basically without pedal to hear this. I think that is exciting to hear. It shouldn't be just like normal in the background kind of background accompaniment. It has this energy and vitality in it. Also, I want to, it's always a question here if you should do the pedal or for me, I don't care. I really don't care. Those things were left to the taste of the performer. So I leave it to you and your taste to do whatever you want. I do it the second time, and I don't even, to be honest, I don't know why I do it the first time, and not the first time and the second time. To be honest, I think it would be a good idea to do the same. It's not. It's not a kind of a brilliant. It's a whim. It's like a rum. It's like a. And now. I just play that to get for you to get a little bit of a feeling of how I see it. I think a lot of this lies in the character here, lies in the left hand. It's very important to not play. It's not written. If I play it how it's not written, it's this. Right? I hope you hear the difference. No, it's not. It's. So I would play this legato, and we are very far from that articulation now. It's So while this is played with the fingers like this, what I would like to do is to play from the knuckles to get the sparkling sound. Here, I just want you to sink down with your hand. Soft in the fingers, like this, and actually, if you can practice this, that chord doesn't really exist. If you can practice this without leaving, that's an excellent way to practice this, is to practice it without leaving the key with the fingertip. So that comes alive, and it's almost, it's seductive almost, huh? This and the same character basically in the, except that it's a melody. And I would like to don't do no. Diminuendo on that one. Syncopation. I know it doesn't say crescendo there. I do not think it's a subito forte that comes. Although you can play it, I'm totally okay with it, but I think it's a pretty, because of the way the left hand is moving there. The left hand is really moving into that forte, which makes it a little bit unnatural to me to stay piano and do a subito forte. You know, the character in places like that has a lot to do, for me, with opera buffa. Beethoven loved opera. He wanted to write an opera. He did finally. It was not his biggest success of all pieces he wrote, for sure, but he had a fascination with opera and wanted to write one. And you know, when you have it's that opera buffa overture feeling so much of this piece. the character, the feeling, the spirit. The spirit is the best word for that. Next theme coming, he just keeps milking this music with beautiful themes and themes with such different characters. And it really is, it's just, to listen to it and to play it is just a smorgasbord of wonderful moments that everybody really can enjoy. Here you have a sort of a canon, right? Important for me is here to feel almost like it's this rubber band melody where you da 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 dee da dee da theme. You try to The longer that rubber band is, the more tension it is. There is, to me, nothing worse than when you don't hear that tension of the ooh. And that, I mentioned this in some other sonata the other day, that sometimes it's too easy to create two notes, the distance between two notes on a piano. It's too easy. On a violin, you would have to make a certain effort for it. If you sing, you have to, almost you can see it in the face when you try to hit that much higher note. On the piano, you just strike a key. It's like Bach used to say about the piano. He thought it was the most simple instrument because, hey, you just push down a key and the music plays by itself. Well, it's not that easy, but the fact that it's so easy makes it a little bit difficult sometimes because you have to create that. So please do that in both hands. And it's this wonderful little simple principle of short phrase, short phrase, and then one long. And make this long. Do not cut it anywhere. And oh, it's so enjoyable, this music. You get back to and again, I think there is nothing wrong with using a lot of pedal here. 2 by 2 bars. Maybe lifting the pedal on the very last quarter note at the end of each 2 bar section. When you reach this place, it's one of these almost jubilant, heroic things in Beethoven that you would find much later in the Emperor Concerto, where you where it's just kind of it's just vibrating of triumph up somewhere. And this is such a place. So don't try to phrase this and make a little bit less, a little bit more. No, just stay the same in a triumphant manner. Boom, 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 boom. This is a fun part. Here actually, Trumpian, but with a certain line too. These bass octaves are almost like they cut off. Doom, da 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 dum, boom, da 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 dum, boom, or a salutation of doom, da 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 dum, boom, of guns. Boom, da 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 dum, boom, da boom, boom. Back to the opera buffa. Yep. You have to be funny here. You have to be funny. You can't be too serious. It's like almost you have a little bit of a conversation going on, a duet of the. I'm sorry, I don't want to be inappropriate here. Or let's say, let's go out tonight. Oh no. Yes, please, let's. No. Well, I go with my friends then. This is not this. It's brilliant and it's ecstatic in a way, but it's also a little bit a caricature of somebody who is feeling very important or very a need to impose himself. You know, there are always these people around that think they are very important and they don't notice that other people around them laugh a little bit at them because they are not as important as they think they are. This is a little bit that guy. Okay, now we come to the development section. Travel with this theme. And what happens here, it's more or less Beethoven showing off his great, it's virtuosity. Virtuosity is an expression. It's just not playing fast notes on a piano. It's also something that has a certain human and even, I would say, instrumental for sure, expression. And even in a way, it can fit into music by being just that, virtuosic. And this is what this is. Have to do my own have to listen to myself and practice that the right way. But of course there is a certain dramatic effect in it, which is very musical and has a theatrical effect of almost a wind machine, like it's almost in a theatrical play where there is a storm. It's almost a storm breaking out. So it's not, you can't just play let's play this very fast and loud. But still, there is this showy character here. And I would say that it's a good thing to do little inside these, to think little crescendos. Crescendo, 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 crescendo. Because the risk otherwise is that you get a lot of thumb. And that does not sound too great. So very important to be loose in the thumb. I'm going to go through that technically later in a separate video. But it's important to not tense up the thumb and to just, put it down the whole hand. And let these be very weak. They all have to sing. I rather do this a little bit slower. Not that slow, of course, but that it's tiny bit slower and every note is speaking. Then it gets a lot more brilliant, actually, if you can feel the presence of every note in there. Then you have what you call a fake re-exposition when we come to here. And if you don't hear that it's in D major, because it's supposed to be, when it comes back, it's supposed to be in C major, you might think that, that was a short development. We're already back, but we are not. I don't think that Beethoven really thought anybody would think that, but it's just a style of, are we back? But it's in the wrong key. So it has this a little bit humorous effect, which makes this much more fun. This is hard because I want not and it's really hard in fast tempo to get the right articulation and not like it's one slur under all. And of course, this is proud. It's proud. It's dramatic. Play it. Don't get too lost, maybe, or too caught up with the sforzandos being too aggressive. Try actually to play them, and I'm not necessarily thinking about those. They have to be there, but those sforzando has to be there, and they will be quick and like throwy. But here, what I call, a little bit simplifying, sforzando with feelings. So you have, instead of you do like an orchestra would play sforzando. So I I think that sounds a lot better and makes a lot more sense and is simply more beautiful. And it also makes it having two characters, one here, which is more pointy, and then you have one passionate new character, passionate, right? I think that makes sense. And then here you can wait. And you know, this is a long one to play. I'm not there yet. It's long, and Beethoven can be repetitive for almost the sake of being repetitive, because it's kind of it's an effect almost to do an endless amount of times, like in the Pastoral Symphony. But here, I don't feel that is what he's looking for. So I would play this free, like a cadenza. Maybe not that free and maybe not that much diminuendo, but the idea is of some kind of a little bit of a cadenza on the dominant chord. Now we have worked through both the exposition and the development. The little intermezzo thing coming right in after the main theme is played again in the re-exposition is this is a typical example of Beethoven playing around with differentiation of articulation. So he has short in one hand, and then he has long. Typical, I would say, typical string writing, right? String quartet. So make sure to make the best. That's the main thing with that there are two different, very different opposing articulations. So do that. And then, of course, he changes hand. Right? And dynamics. Now, when we come to the end, after the re-exposition is done, oh, sorry. Magnificent. It opens up everything. Wow. So I almost thought that when I did it now, it was a little bit aggressive. And you can be so free here. And use lots of pedal. This is a wonderful cadenza soloist like thing that is happening, and I cannot believe that he did not want a lot of pedal here. Can it be played without pedal with a certain effect? Yes. Let's see. don't do the cliche mistake of doing the crescendo too early, which I almost did. It can be done. It feels a little bit like he is fighting hard to create some kind of effect as if there was a pedal, you know, with all these holding of the notes. So why not just touch it down, come down with the pedal, helping a little bit. You don't have to bathe completely. Bathe completely in pedal. The important thing is to actually practice it first without pedal, so you do maximum of this effect only with the fingers, with the hands not leaving the keys, bottom of the keys. So this is completely without pedal, and it's not bad, right? And then you add some pedal. So I would say probably when I played it the first time, it was probably too much pedal. So that's the way to do it. Feel very free. Once you reach this chord, you are free to do anything you want in terms of, it's really a cadenza here. People say the cadenza starts here. I think it starts already here, even though it's not what is supposed to be the harmony for the cadenza coming, but the spirit of the cadenza comes it really should feel like you are playing this for the first time, like you are making it up, and that you're searching for harmonies coming and coming, and finally you get here, and you're sick of this, you know, that stuff, so we go brilliant. Playful. This is a hard one. I mean, this I would not really tell anybody how to play that, because it has to be free. It has to be your freedom speaking there with that material of the notes. That was just how I did it now. I might do it differently tomorrow, and that should be the spirit of it. But this is hard. Up, and then how do you fall down? How do you connect this? It is hard. I haven't really found a way to do this well. To go into it, to fall into it in a crescendo, and then subito piano, would that work? It almost works better than the diminuendo, which is what is usually made. This is just, the problem here is that this is such a departure. It's such a departure. And it does not function well to my ears in being somewhere where you arrive at. It just doesn't work. You arrive to here because it's such a. It wants to go somewhere. So for that sake, I might just go with the feeling of doing a crescendo. And so it's pretend it's forte, and now we do piano instead. I don't know. Was it good? Maybe not. It's not worse than. You can also do it, it's written 16th note, so maybe you can do it slowly and speak those instead of, this kind of brilliant, so speak to, that's also a possibility. If you find a good way to do that you think I haven't thought of, please shoot me an email and I will read it with interest. You know, you can work with this until life is over and you will still have lots of questions and problems to solve in these sonatas, believe me. We go until the end. It goes on with this opera buffa. Here I would say that it's a little bit the same variation of what happened with Sonata with feelings in the development section, but here I would say it's without feeling. It's more, it's humorous. Piano and then piano music. And don't do a. It can be done. It was not terrible when I did that, actually. It was like, oh, quite nice. But it's more fun if you just up, down, up, down, up. Wow! Again, can you really do this without pedal? No. And now again, it's the triumph of the emperor of music, Beethoven.